Really interesting because somebody this week asked me, they were like, oh, how was your week? Like, what did you do? And I was like, what did I actually do? I don't remember. Hello, beautiful people. It is the last week of November and yeah, it was different. Not bad, not like epic and amazing, different. It's really interesting because somebody this week asked me, they were like, oh, how was your week? Like, what did you do? And I was like, what did I actually do? I don't remember. I will say, however, that is one reason I'm really grateful that I keep an accomplishment journal and that I keep track of the small accomplishments that I make, because the more intentional I am with my goals and my time and being focused, along with all the things that come up in life, I really truly kind of just forget. Like, it's not prominent and super important, so my brain is like, nope, don't need it. And then I forget all this, not all, but a lot of the smaller accomplishments that I achieve. And that's why I have an accomplishment journal. Anyway, moving on. Okay, so this week's accomplishments, I have a few. Not all of them were even on my list of things to do. I had a few hiccups as well, but we're gonna start with the accomplishments. So the first accomplishment, I recreated my book cover for book number 1, and I created a book cover for book number 2. I'm really proud of myself. I think they look really cool. You guys can totally tell me what you think. But I also, when I created them, I didn't take into consideration licensing. So I have to look into that, and I might have to have these covers. I might just see if I can hire an artist to do something, because licensing, since I'm going to be selling these books, I have to be mindful of that and make sure that I'm not infringing on somebody else's artwork, because that's just disrespectful and not okay, you know? And then on top of that, they would want compensation, and I don't want to necessarily part from the profits of the company, and I don't want my company to be in jeopardy or tainted and all of that stuff, you know? So there's that. But I did recreate the covers. So check, accomplished. The next accomplishment for the week, it's small, but it did happen. I paid $50 toward my debt elimination, which was awesome. I wanted it to be more, but I definitely prioritized certain things and making sure that, again, my life was in order and that I was taking care of myself. So this week I kind of felt a little under the weather, and so I chose to, instead of pushing myself, I chose to just kind of take it easy, relax, pamper myself, in the sense that I just took care of myself. I slowed down, made sure that I ate healthy foods, made sure that I boosted my immune system and all of that stuff. So I didn't work as much as I wanted. And then we also had Thanksgiving, so that kind of threw things for a loop. It was strange, but it is what it is. I paid $50 and I'm okay with that. Next, so last week I talked about how I finished and filled out, completed all the paperwork that I needed to move my business from Colorado to Florida. And that part was true. However, I forgot some crucial things, like getting it notarized. There were some documents that I had to get notarized, and I don't know how I honestly don't know, because I even have little stickies. But this week I took care of that. I was able to get all the documentation that I need to move my business from Colorado to Florida notarized and done. Now I can mail it in and be done. I guess it's not technically be done, but it's move on to the next phase, because I'm not done with my business. I'm moving on, you know? Anyway, next, The next accomplishment for this week was I was able to write out all of my December focuses. So personal, financial, business, I wrote them out. And that video you guys will see soon. But I'm really excited, and I'm so excited for that actually, because in looking at my November goals, you guys like crushed it. And I am going to do the same for December, and I'm very excited about that. My next big accomplishment for the week, which was not on my to-do, but it is going to have a big effect moving forward, is I met with my graphic designer slash social media content manager, which is kind of weird to say because I don't really think I have like a huge following or anything, but I do need help in that area. And I found this wonderful girl. Her name is Grace. She's dreamy. I really like her, and she's very helpful in the sense of I can just say, hey, this is the content that I need created. This is what I want it to look like. Do your thing. And I can just create, which is really nice. So I create a lot of I create my Instagram captions, I create obviously the books, the courses, the products, but she helps me when it comes to social media. And so we had a really good meeting this past week, went over a few things that I wanted to change and a new direction that I want to take some things, which I'm really excited about. Again, more work, but I think it'll be really good just because it's going to provide more tools and resources for you guys and allow for you guys to really be able to create the life that you want to live and be very intentional about it and have more tools and resources, true tools and resources. I think that's really important. I'm just gonna pause there for a moment. We're gonna hang out. One of my big goals is, I have like so many, but one of them is to provide tools and resources for people so that they can live their life live their purpose and live with intention. And I feel like there is so much out there on the internet and there's something for everyone. But one of the things that I found when I was searching and looking for certain things was that I wanted tools and resources that I could apply immediately. Like, give me 5 tips that are gonna help me figure out how to start my business. And not just like, go open a bank account, get an EIN, have an LLC. Those are important, but then it just stopped, right? Like, how do I actually apply this so that I can have what it is that I want? And I just found it so difficult, and I feel like I took the long road for a lot of things. And so I just want to help as many other people avoid that long road as possible, because I learned what I learned and I'm very grateful, but I think how much better it would have been if I had a mentor in certain areas. Because the areas where I did have a mentor, I thrived, and I absolutely am so grateful and I loved it, and I just want to help other people have that. As many people as possible have that. And so that's why I'm creating these tools and these resources, and I would much rather put my time, energy, and effort into that and let somebody else create the graphics and the thumbnails and put together, we have a schedule, but upload everything and, do all of the back-end admin stuff. And so I'm really thankful that she wants to do this and that she's willing to do this, and makes me feel good. A sigh of relief, because it's a lot. It's a lot. Okay, next I am going to talk about some of the hiccups that I had this week. I feel like I had several, but there are really just a few big ones. Oh my gosh, you guys, it's life. Okay, so I'm going to start off with the simple fact that this past week was Thanksgiving, and I felt like things were kind of cattywampus. I think there were a lot of things that distracted me, for sure. And then there were other things that I feel just didn't seem to really line up. I don't know why. That's just how I felt. So with that being said, let's get into my hiccups for the week, shall we? Okay, the first hiccup is me finalizing my trust. So last week's video, I told you guys that I wanted to like get that up running and make sure that that was established this week. And after doing research and reading and writing things out, there were a lot of things that I actually had to consider and take into account, because it's a trust. And the big thing with my trust is my heart's desire is to create generational wealth. So it's not just for me while I'm living, it's for my children and my children's children. And then for myself, not only is it for my children when I have children, currently I'm in my single canoe, but I do want to have children. And knowing that, I am planning ahead. At the same time, I also have family, specifically nieces and nephews, that I want to give opportunities to. And I want to make sure that certain provisions are provided for them in my trust. Like, God forbid I die early, I want them to have certain things. My siblings, I love them, I care for them, but they're all adults. Like, they don't need money. I mean, we all would like extra money for sure, but it's not about the current generation, I feel. It's not about the current generation. It's about the next generation and making sure that they are properly equipped for certain things. And so I had to make a lot of decisions and figure out how I want things to unfold should I pass away early. God forbid, but there's that for my nieces and nephews. And then ideally, living a long life and being married and having a husband, I still had to consider certain things. I'll have to change my trust once I get married. But until then, I also had to make decisions on who I want to supersede me and be in charge of my trust once I pass. And I just had to pray about that. There's some people that I have in mind and some things that we have to talk about and discuss, because it is a big responsibility. It's not like, you know, hey, will you watch my car while I'm out of town? It's like, hey, will you treat all of our nieces and nephews fairly? Will you treat my children fairly when it comes to dividing up all of my assets, you know? And there are people that I think will, but we have to have kind of some conversations. So yeah, there's that. And I didn't get an opportunity to have those conversations with them this past week. People are busy living their lives. It was a holiday weekend, that whole thing. So I'm going to give it a moment, and I'm gonna make it a goal in December and talk to some people in December about that, and just kind of give it a little bit of time. Still praying on some things and seeing which direction God is leading me. So there's that. Hiccup number 2, you guys, I'm just gonna keep it a buck. I'm just gonna be very transparent. I did not write any chapters for book number 2 this week. Not one. I didn't. I feel like I was all over the place. I don't know why. I didn't feel very focused. I also didn't feel very creative. I don't know. I was in a space, so I did not write anything for book number 2. I do have my outline, which is good, and it's there. I did transfer it into my Notion so that I can work on it when I'm on the go or when I'm at home, whatever. That part's really cool, but nope, didn't happen. So the last hiccup, it has to do with writing as well. You guys, I did not write my blog post. I was just not feeling it this week. I know I should be focused and intentional, which I am, but I'm also being in tune with myself. And I was just, when I say I just wasn't feeling it this week, what I'm saying actually is that this week was full of distractions and other things took priority. And so I just, when it came time to be creative, I wasn't in that creative mindset, and it was so much more difficult. And on top of that, then I was like, I'm tired. I kind of don't feel well. I'm gonna just be. And I was okay with that. So that was the last hiccup. But I was gonna be like, oh, it's so sad. Wah, meh. Actually, I'm alive another day. We're alive another week. This next week is gonna be bomb.com. I'm excited. Okay, this next week is full of a lot of things. I have my little notes down here. So, the first thing, I am getting back into training with Krav. And so my goal for this week, my focus, my intention is going to be going 3 days a week. So I have kind of a schedule roughly, and I'm gonna go 3 days a week. I'm very excited about that. I think it's gonna be great. That's number one. The second one is I am going to get 2 weeks ahead when it comes to producing content. This one is a challenge, for sure. This is going to be probably my biggest challenge this week because there are a lot of different pieces. I haven't talked about it. I will. I'll talk about it in a business diaries episode, but I got a lot of clarity this past week with some things, which is maybe why I wasn't really in the creative space. But in order for my graphic designer / social media person to do her job correctly and effectively, I need to make sure that I'm 2 weeks ahead on producing content, which means I have to be super focused and intentional with it. I am excited for it. It's gonna be a fun challenge, I think. Ooh. Yeah, it's gonna be a fun challenge. The next one is to research and choose an email campaign software. So I think that's what it's called, but I realized that here I am, it is December. I now have products that I want to sell, my first ebook, and a couple of other things. I'm getting my website revamped, and I have this epiphany, oh my gosh, I don't have a way to capture people's email address. So the more content that I produce, the more information, tools, and resources that I put out there, if people wanted to contact me, they can go to my website and do so, but there's no way for me to capture all of their information. And so that's super important, crucial. So that is a focus this week, is finding, I guess it's an email marketing campaign software and choosing one, because I'm definitely gonna need it this next year. It's going to come in handy for sure. Also, once I get 2 weeks ahead on my content, I am planning on writing 2 chapters of my book. Yes, I moved that goal from last week to this week because there's no reason I cannot write. I get off work a little bit earlier, so in between work and Krav, I can write. This is definitely doable. I just have to be more intentional, and that's what I'm gonna do. This goal is getting done this week, for sure. Okay, the next goal is writing 3 blog posts. I really enjoy writing blog posts. I try to make them fun, engaging, and to the point, because when I'm looking for something and researching something, what I don't want to do is go through a long blah blah for 10 points. I want to go in, get information, process it, use it. And so that's how I try to write my blogs. And so my goal is to write 3 blog posts this week, which kind of falls under getting ahead by 2 weeks for the content. But anyway, yes, I'm excited about this. Okay, my next goal is to outline my first mini course. So I decided that starting after the first of the year, I am going to do a series of mini courses, again, of things that I think will be super useful and helpful to people in general, and things that aren't really widely discussed. And I don't know why they're not widely discussed, because they have an effect and impact on nearly everyone. So I'm gonna put out a few videos, which I'm really excited about, but then I'm also gonna have a mini course, and I am so excited for it. I am also trying to decide if I should teach a couple of things live, or if I should just do kind of like your standard, I don't know, we'll talk about it. That's a business diaries conversation, because there's so many different ways I could do this, but the goal is to outline my first mini course, and that's the goal. Next, I want to make sure that I put at least $50 toward my debt elimination. So there's what I am responsible for monthly on a minimum. And then this week, I want to make sure I put a minimum of $50 additional to that. So we keep knocking this sucker out, you guys. It's little by little, but there's a part of me that would be like, okay, it's only 50 bucks. You did 50 bucks last week and 50 bucks the week before. Is it really making that big of an impact? Maybe, sorta, kinda. You could do better, right? And then there's a part of me that's like, little by little, steady is better than nothing, number one. And number two, like, what is it? It's like a steady stream wears away at rock. I could totally feel myself getting tongue-tied, but that's very true. So it's not about necessarily how powerful and forceful something is or how big it is, but it's about the consistency. And that's what I'm keeping in mind when it comes to this debt elimination thing. So $50 this next week, I think that it's doable. Since we're talking about money, I also have a goal to complete my financial pulse for December. I think I have an idea and I want to avoid it, but I also know that actually knowing where I stand financially is the best thing. Even if I think it might be worse, it could turn out that it's better. Or it could turn out that it's like, nah, that wasn't so bad. Or, girl, what'd you do with your money? I have 3 options, but all 3 of them are good for me to know, so I can know what to do in the future to position myself the best way possible. You know what I mean? And my last big goal for this week is one that I am also super excited about. It's really fun. It's personal. And hopefully my family will like it. If you guys are watching, hey, now you know what your Hanukkah/Christmas gifts are. I am putting together a family yearbook. I am really excited. I might have bitten off more than I can chew trying to get it done before Hanukkah, but I think it will be a lot of fun and something that that is just gonna be cherished, that we're all gonna have, and that is gonna be really cool. So yeah, I'm excited. Thanks for staying to the end of the video. I'm so excited for next week. Okay, anyway, those are my accomplishments, my hiccups, and my focuses for next week. Thank you for staying to the end of the video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.